Hey folks, so for this video I am going to be reading a book which is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, and I guess this is the watered down version for young adult readers, aka teenagers, aka me. And just kidding. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna stammer, so I mean, it's part of my nature, it's part of who I am, so yeah, I can't change that, so you'll have to stick with it. Okay, let's begin. My father's family name being Pirrip, and my Christian name being, okay, let me start again. My father's family name being Pirrip, and my Christian name Philip. I called myself Pip, and came to be called Pip. I give Pirrip as my father's family name on the authority of his tombstone and my sister, Mrs. Joe Gargery, who married the blacksmith. My first, most vivid and broad impression of the identity of things seems to me to have been gained on a memorable raw afternoon towards evening. At such a time I found out for certain that this bleak place, overgrown with nettles, was the churchyard, and that Philip Pirrip and also Georgiana, wife of the above, were dead and buried, and that Alexander, Bartholomew, Abraham, Tobias, and Roger, infant children of the aforesaid, and I'm also gonna be mispronouncing a lot of things. I am so sorry for that. Okay, back to the point. were also dead and buried, and that the dark flat wilderness beyond the churchyard, intersected with dikes and mounds and gates, was the marshes, and that the small bundle of shivers, growing afraid of it all and beginning to cry, was Pip. "Hold your noise," cried a terrible voice, as a man started up from among the graves at the side of the church porch. "Keep still, you little devil, or I'll cut your throat." A fearful man, all in coarse grey, with a great iron on his leg, a man with no hat, and with broken and with broken shoes, and with an old rag tied round his head, a man who limped and shivered and glared and growled, and whose teeth chattered in his head as he seized me by the chin. "Oh, don't cut my throat, sir," I pleaded in terror. "Tell us your name," said the man. "Quick." "Pip, sir." "Once more." "Once more," said the man, staring at me. "Give it mouth." "Pip. Pip, sir." "Show us where you live," said the man. "Point out the place." I pointed to where our village lay, on the flat inshore among the alder trees and pollards, a mile or more from the church. The man, after looking at me for a moment, turned me upside down and emptied my pockets. There was nothing in them but a piece of bread. When the church came to itself, for he was so sudden and strong that he made it go head over heels before me, and I saw the steeple under my feet, I was seated on a high tombstone, trembling, while he ate the bread ravenously. "You young dog," said the man, licking his lips. "What fat cheeks you got." Okay, let me try to mimic that in the proper said accent. "What fat cheeks you got." Okay. I believe they were fat, though I was at that time undersized for my years, and not strong. Darn me if I couldn't eat them, said the man, with a threatening shake of his head. And if I hadn't half a mind to it, I earnestly expressed my hope that he wouldn't, and he held tighter to the tombstone on which he had put me, partly to keep myself upon it, partly to keep myself from crying. Now looky here, said the man. Where's your mother? There, sir, said I. He started, made a short run, and stopped and looked over his shoulder. There, sir, I timidly explained. Also, Georgiana, that's my mother. Oh, said he, coming back. And is that your father along with your mother? Yes, sir, said I. Him too, late of this parish. Ha, he muttered then, considering. Who do you live with? My sister, sir, Mrs. Joe Gargery, wife of Joe Gargery, the blacksmith, sir. The blacksmith, eh? Said he, and looked down at his leg. After darkly looking at his leg and me several times, he came close to my tombstone, took me by both arms, and tilted me back as far as he could hold me, so that his eyes looked most powerfully down into mine, and mine looked most helplessly up into his. Now looky here, said he. Now looky here, he said. The question being whether you're to be let to live. You know what a file is? Yes, sir. And you know what whittles is? Yes, sir. You get me a file. He tilted me again. And you get me whittles. He tilted me again. You bring 'em both to me. He tilted me again. Or I'll have your heart and liver out. He gave me a most tremendous dip and roll. Then he held me by the arms in an upright position on the top of the stone, and went on in these fearful terms. You bring me tomorrow morning early that file and them victuals. You bring the lot to me at that old battery over yonder. You do it, and you never dare to say a word, or dare to make a sign concerning your having seen such a person as me, and you shall be let to live. You fail, or you go from my words in any particular, and your heart and your liver shall be tore out, roasted, and ate. Now, I ain't alone, as you may think I am. There's a young man hid with me, who has a secret way peculiar to himself of getting at a boy, and at his heart, and at his liver. It is in vain for a boy to attempt to hide himself from that young man. A boy may lock his door, may be warm in his bed. May be warm in bed, may tuck himself up, may think himself comfortable and safe, but that young man will softly creep his way to him and tear him open. I am keeping that young man from harming of you at the present moment, with great difficulty. I find it very hard to hold that young man off your side. Now, what do you say? I said that I would get him the file, and I would get him what broken bits of food I could, and I would come to him at the battery early in the morning. Say, Lord, strike you dead if you don't, said the man. I said so, and he took me down. Now, he pursued, you remember what you've undertook, and you remember that young man, and you get home. Good night, sir, I faltered. Much of that, said he, glancing about him over the cold wet flat. I wish I was a frog, or an eel. At the same time, he hugged his shuddering body in both his arms, clasping himself, as if to hold himself together, and limped towards the low church wall. As I saw him go, picking his way among the nettles, and among the brambles that bound the green mounds, he looked in my young eyes as he were eluding the hands of the dead people, stretching up cautiously out of their graves, to get a twist upon his ankle and pull him in. When he came to the low church wall, he got over it like a man whose legs were numbed and stiff, and then turned round to look for me. When I saw him turning, I set my face towards home and made the best use of my legs. But presently I looked over my shoulder and saw him going on again towards the river, still hugging himself in both arms. On the edge of the river, I could faintly make out the only two black things in all the prospect that seemed to be standing upright. One of these was the beacon by which the sailors steered, an ugly thing when you were near it. The other a gibbet, with some chains hanging to it which once held a pirate. The man was limping on towards this latter, as if he were the pirate come to life, and come down, and going back to hook himself up again. It gave me a terrible turn when I thought so, and as I saw the cattle lifting their heads to gaze after him, I wondered whether they thought so too. I looked all round for the horrible young man, and could see no signs of him. But now I was frightened again, and ran home without stopping. Okay, I guess I have to pause. That's the end of chapter 1, I think. Not I think. Anyways, I watched an adaptation of it, and it was brilliant. If you guys haven't yet, some of you heard about this book and the adaptations, I highly recommend them. They're really good. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching. See you in my next one. Bye.